Hello everyone, my name is Tiffany. I'm the Tipsy Artist. Today we are painting this beautiful Christmas tree, and we're going to learn a lot of very fun effects to create all these beautiful bright lights on here. So this is the model. We'll have this with us the entire time. We also have a beautiful painting kit for sale that goes with this. It has all of your supplies already picked out and boxed up for y'all. So we'll provide the link for that as well. And as always, we make sure that it is very easy and fun for y'all with a traceable and transfer paper included in there too. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and place this down. We're going to go ahead and switch camera views now. And here we go. Okay. All right. So I have my traceable already transferred on my canvas, and we have another video that is exclusively just for that tutorial to teach you how to do the transfer process. So we'll include that below in the comments as well. But it's a very simple transfer. And as a matter of fact, some people might even want to freehand this. It is so easy to do. All right, so I've got my paint out brushes. The kit comes with everything that you need. The only thing you'll have to get out if you have the kit with us is just your water. So I'm using acrylic paints today. And let's go ahead and talk about our brushes here. We've got the mama brush. That's what I call them. I have my little family of brushes. So mama, little buddy, and then little bit. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my mama brush, and we're going to go ahead and do the background first. And we'll be using, to begin with here, some Mars Black and also some titanium white. So because it's not a pure black, it's definitely more of like a charcoal gray. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a nice dollop of the white here, little tiny touch of the black. I'm going to go ahead and push those two together. Let's grab a little bit more. We're going to darken this up a little bit. All right. That's looking quite beautiful. Again, a dark gray. And I'm going to go ahead and start to place this in my background. And I'm just going to crisscross it back and forth. And as I work too, I can crisscross in a little bit of black with it. You can add a little bit of water here too to help make the paint a little bit more fluid to where it will flow into the pores of the canvas. Again, lots of texture here by crisscrossing back and forth. It kind of feels like you make the letter X over and over again. And we'll just keep going all the way around the tree. And then we'll come all the way down to, this is your snow line here, the ground line. Watch out for this little star here too. We do want to be careful with our cut-in work. So you may have to use a smaller brush if you're a little bit uneasy with the big mama brush into this little section. I'm using more of the flat side of the brush. I'm holding it more parallel to the canvas to get really nice coverage here. Just continue crisscrossing this out back and forth. And if you have little bits of peekaboo canvas coming through, again, remember just to add a little bit of water, and then that will help make that paint a little bit more fluid and help it flow into all of those areas of the canvas. Again, this is that little bit of star detail up here, so I'm trying to be careful to just come in and cut in right next to it. As we get near the edge here, we can turn the brush a little bit differently, a little bit more of like a pencil hold, very traditional, feels very comfortable to the hand. This creates more of a line. It helps you cut in around that tree. But then when we feather those strokes out into more of the background, then I turn it back over to the side, again, parallel to the canvas. And you can also work back in a little bit more of this pure black. While the paint is still wet, you can kind of crisscross some more pure black back and forth into that background. All right, we are done. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse out. Lots of firm pressure, round and round and round. That will help release that paint. And I'm going to go ahead and dry off. All right, now we need to go ahead and work in our tree here. So we will be using some cadmium green and then also some black. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start to mix those together. A little bit of green, a little bit of black. So, but at first it's definitely very dark. You can see how that's a super dark, kind of a pine green. Right, I'm going to go ahead and start to pull down, still using the mama brush. I'm going to pull down here. Taking it down side to side. Definitely want contrast here on the side, so I'm going to darken it up to where it's very dark next to the background here. And just continue working this in I'm going to add a little bit of white now to the green and the black. It almost kind of pulls in a little bit of the sage. As I get towards the sides, I do kind of like barely just kind of flip to the side a little bit and lift off with a light hand. So we're getting most of that nice coverage into the center of the tree. All right, I'm going to go ahead and rinse out now. And we're going to create a little bit of our edge work with a smaller brush. All right, so I'm going to use my little bit brush here, do a little swirl into the same color that we have mixed up. This is our green, our black, and our white. And I'm just going to barely kind of make little short strokes that go down and out on the sides. This creates a little bit of that texture. Kind of feather that out. All right, let's rinse out and dry off. All right, we're going to do a little bit of our snow now. So we're going to take Mama Brush, big dollop of white, tiny touch of the black, just barely add a little bit of black to make a very light gray over here. I'm going to go into the little hills. All right, now let's rinse out and just pick up more of that pure white. And softly place that next to that gray. Get a soft blend between the two. I'm going to get really close to this tree, and then we'll do another overpaint with the tree to kind of bring it back out into the foreground to make that look a bit more natural. So don't worry about that yet. We're just getting in that snow. I'll sweep that back and forth in lots of just wet white. Back and forth. Now I'm going to go in for the darker gray and make a little bit of a hillside again. I'm going to do a few little random lines, just kind of back and forth. All right, so there's our pretty snow. Rinse out again. It's really important to make sure you rinse out quickly. Don't ever let your brushes sit with paint on them. Acrylic paint does let up and dry very quickly, so you have to be careful with that. I'm going to go ahead and pick up a little bit brush again, do a little twirl here into the paint, and just soft little feathery strokes here, right out over the top of the snow. Again, this is green, black, and white. We'll go to one side and then we'll go to the other side. Just a little bit of a soft curve down. And then flip it out and lift off with a light hand. All right, really pretty. Let's go ahead and rinse out now. All right, we're going to go ahead and start to work in some nice big lights. So lots of white circles at this point. Now, there's a few ways to do this with your brush, the handle too. So the brush handle is a great tool. We can use the biggest brush, and we'll do lots of them this way. We'll also do some that are painted on as well. But we will sprinkle these all over. So this is a really nice, fast way to do it. And also, if you twist your brush a little bit, it can make the circle a little bit bigger. So the tree has a lot of lights. So that's one of the reasons why it is so helpful to have this little trick. So it just makes it very fast. Nice, easy way to create an abundance of light all over the tree. It is a lot. Okay, let's go ahead and dry that off there. And then we're going to take our little bit brush, the brush side now, more white paint. And we're going to make some bigger lights here. Just kind of randomly place these all over. All right. Now it looks a little strange at this point until we get a lot of that color overlay, but I do need to give this a little bit of setup and dry time. All right, so we're going to go back into our star here, and I'll be using some cadmium yellow here. A little dollop of that. And a little bit brush. I'm going to just fill right into that shape. Put the thickest amount in the center, and then as we pull out to the sides, and we lift off with a light hand. And there's our beautiful star. And I'm also going to add a little bit of snow in our background, still giving our white snow here in our tree some time to set up and dry. So I'm going to use that little trick again where I use the brush handle, and we'll just go ahead and place in a few little dots of snow. We also have a really fun technique that we'll be covering a little bit later as we progress, which will do more of a splatter effect with the snow, but it's nice to have a few of these bigger, intentional, larger snowflakes happening in the sky. All right, really pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and dry this brush handle off now. Okay, now I'm gonna come back in with a little bit of snow on the branches, on the fronts of the tree branches here. So I'm gonna take a little bit, again, a little bit of this white paint, and we're just gonna make a few little feathery strokes here in between the little lights. And just kind of like light downward strokes on top of the tree. Leaving our little circles intact. Thin little strokes, just kind of side to side, going in the direction of the growth on the tree. So they shift from side to side in terms of the direction. Some of these go out to this side, and then we get over to this side, then we go down and out to this side. Right, so you can feel the tree really start to brighten up quite a bit already. It's looking quite lovely with all that snow on there. Rinse out. All right, so now we need to start to play with color a little bit. Now, ideally, you'd want to give this some time to just set up and dry completely. It's going to make it a little bit easier on you. And I'm just going to have to work with a very light hand over the top so that I don't interrupt the white that is still wet, because mine is still a little bit wet. So when you're at home, again, just try to let all this completely dry and then come back over it with that light. We're going to do like a light wash of color over each one of the lights. We're going to go ahead and start with a primary magenta. Nice big dollop there. It's very pretty bright color. And I'm going to add a lot of water to it here. Get a nice translucent, watery feel to it. And then just kind of randomly place this over the white. And again, if you're working at home, yours should be completely dry, so you won't have an opportunity to interrupt this at all. Mine's still a little bit wet, so I have to be very, very gentle. And just kind of barely place in over the top. So I'm just going to do a light little haze of color and to randomly place this primary magenta all over my tree here. And it's definitely a little bit bigger than the actual circle. So it's like a glow that surrounds that circle. Just a circular glow of it. You can see these colors starting to emerge already. And I want to just, again, keep kind of randomly going back and forth where it kind of goes all over. But you don't want a certain amount of magenta just concentrated in one tiny area. Lots of water and just a nice little orb of light around each one. All right, so that is a lot of primary magenta. Let's do a little bit more here. So we're going to play and bring in different colors too. All right. It's looking great. Let's go ahead and dry off. Let's bring in a different color now. Let's go ahead and do some bright yellow green. Nice big dollop of that. A lot of water on this. Same step, a lot of water and just a nice little orb of light over the top of one of the white lights. All right, really pretty. Now let's do some decisions. Let's see. Let's do some of that pretty blue. So we're going to use a little bit of our primary cyan blue now. Lots of water again. Very light, watery, translucent. Big circle of that. And again, try to be very random with the placement of it. All right, it's looking beautiful. Now let's try a little bit of some violet. Here's some violet. And again, a lot of water. Make it very light and translucent. And just create those little orbs of light around the white. See how it's just starting to fill the tree with lots of beautiful color. All right, let's rinse it out. Now let's come in with some primary yellow, very bright and beautiful. Lots of water again. Make it very runny and translucent. Same thing, little orbs of light around the white. I'm kind of looking for whatever's left over here. Okay. Let's see. I don't think I want to do any other colors. Could do a little bit of red or orange. Could do that. You know what? Let's do a little bit of orange. That might be kind of fun. Just kind of fill in here and there. Cadmium orange. A little bit. Lots of water. Those soft little bits of orange orbs just kind of sprinkled throughout. It's a very bright and beautiful tree. I love it. So pretty. Okay. All right, so now we can add just a little bit more of a glow right over the surface. So we're going to use this technique again where we use the handle of the brush and just white paint. We're going to dip into this, and it's just lots of little touches of reflective light right over the top again. Just a lot of repetition. And I will say that again, this is easier if you let it completely set up and dry before you do this next step, just to make sure that the light is very impactful over the top again. It doesn't pick up any of the wet paint. Like I'm really struggling to get that to come over the top of that purple again. We'll let it have a little bit more time to set up. So I'm trying to use just a real delicate hand to do one little dot of white right over the top. Let's see, if it were completely dry, which at home you're not under any time constraints, you can certainly allow yourself that time, and it'll just make it a lot easier on you. I'm having to be very light touch, very light. I'll get it out here in a minute. A very light touch. There I go. Wow, that was kind of hard for me to get out. I don't know why. Very light touch there. See, it's just really creating more reflective light. Really lovely. It's just a little dot right over the top again. A little flash point of light. Let's see, where have I not hit yet? All right, that is looking wonderful. Okay, now I want to do a little bit of that splatter effect now on the snow and the, basically where it looks like it's snowing in the background. So I'm going to pick up my pure white and a lot of water here. And I'm just going to take my fingernail and just kind of scrape here on the edge of the brush, and that's going to make a little bit of that splatter come out into the sky. This is a dynamite technique, very fun. Snowing. Get a little bit over the top of your tree too. Pretty. I love it so much. Feel how I really haven't added any more paint, just a lot of water. So that makes a big difference in this effect. Much more impactful with just a lot of water. Okay, so it's beautiful. And every time it's a little bit different. I actually like the way this one turned out a little bit better, honestly. It's brighter, bigger ornaments. And then, of course, you can sign your masterpiece. Now we are completely dry here, so you can either do this with paint or your kit comes with a permanent marker, so you can actually just sign with your permanent marker here. Ta-da! Beautiful. All right. Good job, everybody. You did it. You created a beautiful Christmas tree. I love it. It's so bright and colorful. Again, all the supplies that you need are on our website, tipsyartist.com. We sure have enjoyed painting with y'all today. And we wish you a very wonderful, happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for painting with us. We love y'all. Toodles.